If you want to know what the best options are for your dad, if they are close to tracheostomy, decannulation, and PEG removal when they're off the ventilator in ICU, stay tuned. I've got news for you. My name is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehome.com, and I have an email today from Michelle who says, "Hi, Patrick. I've been reading your blog and website. I want to know about options for my dad. He's been totally free from the ventilator for a couple of weeks now, but he still has the tracheostomy and he's not decannulated yet. The doctors are saying his lung secretions are not at the right point for that. So that basically means he still needs a fair amount of suction and he can't clear his airway yet. We really want to have the tracheostomy removed and we're waiting for their direction. We also want the PEG tube to be removed, but need decannulation for the tracheostomy first, so that the then tracheostomy and esophagus can normalize for proper eating ability thereafter. Currently, he's in a step-down ICU, and the hospital administrators are saying that he can stay in the hospital for now for much longer, but that the timelines around tracheostomy, decannulation, and PEG removal are uncertain. So therefore, I'm wanting him home instead. So I'm really curious to know, what are your thoughts and what can intensive care at home provide with all of this? We don't have much experience with it and have jobs that make it impossible to stay at home to care for him, but hopefully intensive care at home can care for him at home. Thank you so much in advance for your insights, opinions, and thoughts. From Michelle. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your and your dad's situation. Now, the good news is your dad will be much better off at home with intensive care at home in a situation like that. I mean, he's been in hospital for 10 months now, and it's not a good place for him to be. It sounds like your dad is making good progress overall, but obviously it's a tough transitional state, and you're navigating a hospital system that certainly doesn't always prioritize the convenience and wishes for patients and families, because home care in a situation like that is absolutely the best option to improve your dad's situation. But let's just look at decannulation and the timelines, and also about the PEG tube. Decannulation it's been off the vent for a couple of weeks. That's a really good sign, but the lung secretions continue to be the key issues. Managing those often comes down to physical therapy, breathing exercises, coughing exercises, but also suctioning and his own ability to cough effectively, but he's not quite there yet. So pushing for aggressive pulmonary hygiene, which is, once again, like chest physiotherapy, nebulizer treatments, speech therapy for swallowing also may help. Have the doctors given an estimate on how long they expect this process to take? Sometimes, even if secretions aren't ideal, a speaking valve or a capping trial can help strengthen his ability to clear the secretions. And I agree with that this is what needs to happen next. Now, just keep in mind, when patients go home from a long-term stay in ICU, they just improve psychologically as well by being outside of a hospital environment and being in their own environment. Next, GI tube removal and swallowing readiness. You're absolutely right that removing the tracheostomy will allow his swallowing function to return more naturally. Speech therapy usually plays a big role in assessing when he's ready. Have they done a swallowing evaluation yet? If he's doing well with trials of swallowing even small sips, that might be leveraged to push for an earlier decannulation, right? And that can happen when they take the cuff down of the tracheostomy and do a swallowing trial. So then, what is the best option here? Clearly, home care is the best option. Yes, you can say that I'm biased with running intensive care at home, but we have helped so many clients over the years making a smooth transition from intensive care to a home care environment that it is an absolute no-brainer. And the cost of an ICU bed is prohibitive with $5,000 to $6,000 per bed day, whereas intensive care at home is much more cost-effective with approximately half of that cost. So it makes a lot of sense to take your dad home instead of keeping him in ICU. But more importantly, it improves your and your dad's quality of life. You can stop going to the hospital and you can manage your affairs from home, and you don't have to commute to hospitals, and your dad will be taken care at home with our critical care nurses 24 hours a day, who are tracheostomy competent, PEG tube management. They're competent in weaning patients of tracheostomies as well. They can help with the swallowing assessment. They can cap the tracheostomies, use the speaking valves, deflate the cuff. All of that is the skill set of our critical care nursing staff. So I can only encourage you to take the next steps with us here, so that you can join the long list of clients that we are looking after at home, instead of keeping them in intensive care long term, which once again is not cost effective. It's not effective for the hospitals to block their beds, and it's certainly not great practice. And it's good practice to improve patients' and families' quality of life at home, and not keep them linger in an ICU bed long term. So with all of that said, with intensive care at home, we are sending our critical care nurses into the home 24 hours a day. Therefore, we are providing a genuine alternative to a long-term stay in intensive care for ventilation, tracheostomy, home BiPAP, home CPAP ventilation without tracheostomy, tracheostomy without ventilation, home TPN, home IV potassium infusions, and home IV magnesium infusions. We're also providing ventilation weaning at home. We're also providing central line management, PICC line management, Hickman's line management, as well as a port cath management at home for TPN, but also for IV infusions. We're also providing IV antibiotics at home. We're providing nasogastric tube management, PEG tube management at home, as well as palliative care services at home. We're also sending our critical care nurses into the home for emergency department bypass services. We have done so successfully as part of the Western Sydney Local Area Health District, their In Touch program, saving approximately $2,000 per patient that we keep at home instead of going to the emergency department. And we're actively making sure that there are empty beds in an emergency department for the patients that most need to be in the emergency department. Obviously, we're also in a position to cut the cost of an intensive care bed by around 50%. An intensive care bed costs around $5,000 to $6,000 per bed day. Our service costs around 50% of that. And we're freeing up the most sought after and most expensive bed in the hospital, which is the intensive care bed. Most importantly, we're improving the quality of life for patients and their families. So it's a win-win situation for all stakeholders. With intensive care at home, we're currently operating all around Australia in all major capital cities, as well as in all regional and rural areas. We are an NDIS-approved service provider all around Australia, TAC and WorkSafe in Victoria, iCare in New South Wales, NIISQ in Queensland, as well as the Department of Veteran Affairs all around Australia. Our clients and we as a provider have also received funding through public hospitals, private health funds, as well as departments of health. We are the only service provider in Australia that has achieved third-party accreditation for intensive care at home in 2025. We have been achieving this high level of accreditation since 2012. No other provider has achieved this high level of accreditation in the community and has created more intellectual property for intensive care at home nursing than we have. That puts us in a position to employ hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined in the community. No other service provider in 2025 employs a higher skill level in the community than we do, which enables us to look after the highest acuity adults and children in the community in Australia safely. And if you're stuck in an ICU bed, or your family member is stuck in an ICU bed, if you're long-term ventilated with tracheostomy, or if you're at home already and you're watching this and you realize that you either want to go home or that you don't have the right level of support for you at home, I'll give you some examples today how we can turn situations like that around for you. So one of our first clients over 10 years ago was a client who was at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy with the support worker model 24/7. Of course, support workers cannot look after clients at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy, full stop. That is like flying the airplane with a cabin crew instead of the pilot, because anyone on a ventilator with a tracheostomy is at very high risk of medical emergencies or dying if they don't have critical care nurses looking after them 24/7. This is actually evidence-based, and it's documented in the mechanical home ventilation guidelines that you can find on our website. Think about it. In an intensive care unit in a hospital, you wouldn't have support workers looking after your loved one on a ventilator with a tracheostomy, or after yourself if you're watching this as a patient. So why would anyone in their right mind do that in a home care environment? So eventually the ICU that this client was bouncing back into and more or less living in found out about us, and they contacted us. And then we worked with the client and we proved our concept there very, very fast. We sent him intensive care nurses 24 hours a day, and he never ever went back into ICU ever again. And we were proving our concept there very fast. we can do the same for you. If you are stuck in a hospital in an ICU, or if you're at home already and you realize that your support is dangerous or is not working, we can do the same for you. And this includes the advocacy that for funding that goes along with it. We have always successfully advocated for our clients, otherwise we would not be in business. And this is also why we're providing level 2 and level 3 NDI support coordination. We have a team of designated and dedicated NDI support coordinators, and they have a wealth of knowledge. I've done an interview with Amanda Riches, one of our NDI support coordinators, and I'll put a link to an interview with Amanda in the written version of this blog. We're also providing TAC and WorkSafe case management in Victoria with Lucy McCodder. And if you're an NDI support coordinator or a case manager from another organization watching this and you're looking for nursing care for your participants, please reach out to us as well. If you're looking for funding for nursing care for your participants and you don't know how to go about it and what evidence to provide, I encourage you to reach out to us as well. We can help you with the right level of funding and with the right level of advocacy. We're also providing NDI specialist nursing assessments done by critical care nurses with a legal nurse consulting background. And if you're a critical care nurse and you're looking for a career change and you want to join a very progressive, dynamic, and high-performing team of critical care nurses in the community, we are employing hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined. And if you're looking for a career change, we're currently hiring for jobs for critical care nurses in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, in Albury, Wodonga, in Bendigo, in Geelong, and in Warragul in Victoria. If you have worked in critical care nursing for a minimum of 2 years, pediatric ICU, ED, and you have already completed a postgraduate critical care nursing qualification, we will be delighted to hearing from you. I have a disclaimer though, because we are offering a tailor-made solution for our clients, which includes regular staff and regular teams for our clients. Our clients also do want the same staff coming over and over again because they are so vulnerable and so special, and that's why we need regular staff. So if you're looking for agency work where you can come and go, this will not be the right fit for you. We're looking for consistency and our clients are looking for consistency. So please only apply with us if you can give us a regular and consistent availability for shifts, and only if you're really keen on building relationships with us and with our clients. And if you're an intensive care specialist or an ED specialist, we also want to hear from you. We're currently expanding our medical team as well. We can also help you eliminate your bed blocks in your ICU and in your EDs for your long-term patients or for your regularly readmitting patients with our critical care nursing team at home. We're here to help you take the pressure off your ICU and ED beds, and in most cases, you won't even pay for it. Even if you do pay for it, it is much more cost-effective than what you're paying ICU and ED for, and to get the same level of care. And if you're a hospital executive watching this and you have bed blocks in your ICU, ED, respiratory wards, please reach out to us as well. We can help you there with ICU, ED, and also home TPN, of course, and the other things that I mentioned. If you're in the US or in the UK and you're watching this and you need help, we want to hear from you as well. We can help you there privately or with one-on-one consulting and hiring nurses privately. Once again, our website is intensivecareathome.com. Call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website or send us an email to info@intensivecareathome.com. And if you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families with intensive care at home and for families in intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share this video with your friends and families, comment below what you want to see next, what questions and insights you have from this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.